Let's go back to one of the big stories of the day that we just talked about. I can't believe this is a big story of the day, but it is hugging.
It is important, isn't it?
Yes.
From Monday of next week, in England, you'll be allowed to hug people from outside your household for the first time in 15 months.
Boris Johnson is expected to confirm that later today when he announces the next stage of lockdown easing will go ahead as planned. Let's speak to one of our regular GPs. She's our regular Monday morning GP, Nigat Arif. Morning to you.
Morning.
Lovely to
Happy
see
Monday.
you. So, hugging, your thoughts?
Well, I'm a huge fan of hugs. I've often said to you guys before, I can't wait till we start hugging again, because we release this, especially we're used to hugging our nearest and dearest. And as parents, I'm a mum to 3 boys. I hug my 3 boys all the time. And I can't wait to hug my parents who I haven't seen for a while. And that's the case for lots of people, because when we hug each other, we release this amazing hormone called oxytocin, which is sometimes known as a bonding hormone. And actually, we know under lockdown, and the fact that we've been so distant from each other, the fact that we've had to do physical distancing, is that's what we've missed. We really missed that touch that we need. When I see a patient in my surgery and I'm giving them devastating news, I before the pandemic, I was a hugger. I would hug them because you can't help but get involved. And the fact that especially our elderly under lockdown, they've been really restricted. I mean, to the point where it's impacted their mental health. We know that loneliness has really been affected as well. So if this is great, this is the great bits that are going to come forward. But I would then, and this is not going to make me popular, I'm really sorry, to say to people, just be really cautious, because when we're getting really close with each other, we know that the virus lives in the nasopharynx area. So that's and we can pass it through breathing, and it's in our droplets. So if you are going to be hugging each other, just make sure it's not to everybody. Still make sure that you are trying to practice physical distancing, because we still need to be really, really cautious. These are tiny little incremental steps. The vaccination program, yes, it does make a huge difference. And if you know that you are going to be hugging someone that's really vulnerable as well, just make sure that maybe wearing a mask so that you can do it. We're just going to have to see how it goes, because this is new. These are new territories, and we're going to make sure that we keep a handle on this virus. But yeah, I'm so excited. I've got a list of people I'm going to be hugging. So Louise, you're one of them as soon as I see you.
Oh, thank you. I shall look forward to it. So, I mean, it sounds, first of all, I can't believe it's 15 months. That's how long it's been. And it is a serious message. We hug, but we need to hug with caution.
Yeah, and that's what all the scientists are saying, because although we have made all these amazing steps, it's because we've been so great. The British public have been phenomenal in the way that they've responded to every single restriction that we've put on them. And the same has to happen as we come out. We need to make sure that we do it cautiously. We make sure that we're still following all the numbers. We need to make sure that we're looking at the viral load that's in our communities as well. So the number of viruses that we're transmitting. We know that we've got variants as well that we've got to think about as well. And although the vaccination program is fantastic, 50 million doses of the vaccine have been given. We've vaccinated all our shielded and our vulnerable groups as well. So they're the ones that we were always protecting, so that they don't get really sick and end up in hospital. So it's making sure that we are keeping tabs on that, because we just don't have the data yet. And that's the honest truth. We just don't have the data of what the world will look like with the vaccines in play once we come out of lockdown, and what the virus is going to be like in our communities afterwards. The hope is not too great, not too high. The hope is the pressure on the NHS won't be as great as it was before. And the hope is we won't be going into a 4th lockdown, because we've got all these tools in our armoury now.
And I promise you, this is the last question about hugging. So if you hug briefly?
Yeah, hug briefly, not too many people. Make sure that you are, not... There's a phrase that keeps going around, don't linger on a hug. I mean, that's fine. It's usually just your nearest and dearest. It'll be those people that are going to be your loved ones that you haven't seen in a long time. But I think the fear is that we'll just be hugging everyone and anyone. And remember, there are some people who don't like hugs. There are some people who just don't like that physical touch. So that communication is really important. So you keep talking to people, asking them. For a lot of my patients, or even myself, the fact that I can just see someone at a physical distance, that just feels so good when you do that. So I think that like I keep saying, it's not going to make me popular, but be cautious.
And just really briefly, Eid will be celebrated this week, and what are your sort of thoughts ahead of that as well?
Yeah, so we've been Muslims all around the world have been fasting for the last month, and Eid is coming up on either Wednesday or Thursday. Yes, don't ask me. It's a very complicated reason why we never know the date exactly. But we in Cheshire are going to be celebrating it on Thursday. And there's a huge campaign to say that as Muslims, just be really, really mindful of the fact that I know it's very close to the 17th of May, and to think, restrictions are going to be all up and we can meet in huge numbers, etc. But it's still really important that we follow the rules. And there's a hashtag Safe Eid that we're doing to make sure that the message is out there that if you are going to meet your families, that you meet outside. Large prayer groups aren't congregating together, and wearing masks is still really important. This is a big festival that comes around, and after a month long of fasting, I know the temptation is just to do exactly what you want and just fall back into old habits, but we still need to be really cautious. Eid Mubarak to everybody for the middle of the week, and we're really excited. I'm just so happy I'm going to be eating again. Got loads of samosas.
Thank you so much. It's really good to chat as ever. Thank you. Take care. Thank you.
There's lots to look forward to, isn't